what's going on, y'all? How's everybody doing? I was trying to find a jazzy little joint to start off with, but I need some prompting in my middle age and nothing coming it's coming up good on the shuffle. A lot of let me rephrase, a lot of good is coming up on the shuffle, but nothing, no rap though. There we go. We got Wyclef Jean and Claudette what is it? Is it Ortiz? City High? City High. That was a nice joint. I don't know why I put this on my joint, on my shuffle. Who else we got here? Foreplay, The Last Dance. We got Marvin Gaye, You Sure Love the Ball. This is Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young with Deja Vu, which is a banger. Oh shit, y'all know this. Listen, Will about to dance. So all of a sudden, Will started shimmying his hips soon as that shit came on. Man, there's this beef up top. What's up, Bronx? Why is Fat Joe all in my for you timeline? It's quite annoying. I'm not so much a fan of Fat Joseph. I always the bigger fan of Christopher Rios, aka Big Pun. You know what I'm saying? Porto Rock, Budo. Joe, I'm not the one to study judo. Judo, no, if I got a gun, it's pun from the X. Everything I get, something, something, everything when it gets, bada bing. Woo! Oh man, what's my favorite joint for? Is that song 100%? Wait. Was it the night is young? I'm already fighting, hiding my gun, promoter bugging, screaming, who the fuck invited Pun? Tanto llegará, mi suerte, con mi gente. Hey. Yes, a jam. Shout out to Big Pun, rest in peace, rise in power. Big up to Big Pun, big down with Fat Joe. I don't know what's going down. I don't care. Anyway, how's everybody doing tonight? Last Burn It Down with Kim Brown of 2024. Whew. Thank you, Jesus. You know, I don't do year-end shows, and it never occurs to me to do a year-end show until the end of the year. And I'm like, oh, yeah, this is a thing that other creators, sit down and take time and put together and, go through and compile and configure the best of 2024. I don't ever think about that shit until the end of the year, until right now. and so there's no doing that. You know why? Because we don't look behind, we look ahead, beloveds. We are looking forward. We are looking to the future. I don't know what the future looking like out here in 21st century United States of America, the West, in stage capitalism, where we have seen everything this year, from a live stream genocide to the re-election of a nigga who wears a weave and smells like shit, apparently. like feces. They say Trump stink, y'all. And that's so fitting. I mean, because and that's no diss to anyone that's dealing with the health issues that Trump is dealing with. It's just ironic and interesting that Trump himself, wealthy, so many ass kissers, zero ass wipers, which is so wild. How you got so many people willing to kiss your ass and not a single one willing to wipe it? What? I don't get it. I was a little struggling, and I normally have not been wearing makeup easily for the past year and some change, but I couldn't even find my pink lipstick. I have pink YSL lipstick. I have misplaced it. And I did not want to wear my traditional red lipstick with this color shirt. So I didn't. I just pulled my boobs up. I said, maybe they won't notice. Maybe they won't notice I'm not wearing lipstick if I pull my boobies up. Will told me to remind y'all it's not that kind of channel. And that's fine. I just had to remind Will that I am pull your boobies up years old, though. You know what I'm saying? That has to happen on occasion. Some of y'all might understand what I'm talking about, but y'all are young, spry, perky things. Y'all don't know what I'm talking about. That's fine. Will also told me to big up to Chuck Diesel in the building, checking in, the Night Rider himself. What's up, Chuck Diesel? Come on through. Told me to also shout out to Latif, aka Colossus Mahez, the Brubs, the Brothers, the Bravo, the Jungle, the Brothers. Thank you guys so much for doing what you do. Big up to all the mods. What's up, Courtney? What's up, Tyler? What's up, Anna? What's up, Abby? What's up, Donnie? What's up to all my nieces and nephews? Well, Fran French, I believe, is my half sister. My father got around. I didn't know my father would have a propensity for white women, but hey, it could happen. But I'm talking about with your mom, Franny, not with you. And either way, that's probably bad. So let me shut up. But shout out to my sister Fran French. Shout out. Big up to Nat A. Who else be coming through? Big for the show. We appreciate you guys so much. So I do have some stories, a couple of joints. I'm not gonna lie though, that the better half of the show is probably just going to be palate cleansers because I found several that really just tickled me to no end. And I said on the last show of the year, I'm not gonna go. I can't. I cannot do the deep dives into Luigi, but free Luigi out this joint. Can't get into the deep dives per the drones, but shout out to the drones. I'm sorry. Over on TikTok, they're saying the Dior bags. And it took me a second to understand why. I still don't know the why, but I understood that I guess DRONES is getting people shadow banned or getting their content suppressed. I don't know. So on TikTok, they're calling them the Dior bags. Regardless, shout out to them because I feel like they out here doing some sort of positive work. If not helping to end the truth embargo, as many are calling it, the truth embargo that has been in place regarding ufology, and other such things. Anywho, should we get into the stories? I have to go into my doc because my memory's terrible. I can't remember what I had up there first. I'm sure it was something fascinating. Yes, it was. Do me a favor, y'all. Like the video. Thanks to everyone that's watching us on the vertical stream. Appreciate you. Shout out to everyone that's checking us out on Twitch at BIDWKB. What's up, Rose Alba? What's up, Norman Rich? Appreciate y'all. So, propaganda has been propagandizing at tremendous levels this year. The DRONES being one of those stories in to highlight in particular, but also the suppression of the extent of the atrocities happening in Gaza continues to be downplayed, underreported, misrepresented, never interrogated by the American mainstream media. I'll say some of the other outlets in Europe in particular do better, not outstanding, but way better than what we do here in terms of our legacy mainstream media outlets when it comes to reporting on what's really happening in Gaza. But I want y'all to know that the resistance is still with the shits. Now, let me tell y'all this, because I'm not so super well versed in geopolitics that I can assess the good or the bad that has occurred in Syria with the deposing of Bashar al-Assad and the rebels taking control. Nigga, I do not know who them niggas are. I do not know if they are good niggas, bad niggas. I have no idea who these niggas are. None whatsoever. But the fact that it was reported so favorably by American mainstream outlets it gives me tremendous pause. Like, if they're saying it's a good thing that these folks got in, then it's probably a bad thing that those folks got in. And by the way, go back, I think it was last week on the Remix Morning Show. They had Ajamu. I'm sorry, my tongue is colonized. Ajamu Baraka. Jesus, am I fucking everything up? Probably. Anyway, Ajamu talked about Ajamu. Let me shut up. Just go, Kim. He talked about the Syrian situation in context that I think everyone should listen to and appreciate. Because again, if the West is touting it as a good thing, it's probably a bad thing. But the resistance remains firm. Okay, so we know Hezbollah signed a temporary not shoot missiles at each other agreement for the time being. Iran is like, got they host on their hip, but they ain't letting the chopper sing just yet. But you know who is letting the chopper sing? The Houthis in Yemen. And we want to big up to the Houthis because the Houthis created a trade blockade so that goods could not get in and out of Israel. They said as long as Israel's committing this genocide on Palestinians, how about don't nothing get through this motherfucker? And my geography is a little bad, and I can't recall if it's the Red Sea or the Mediterranean or somehow both. But regardless, the Houthis for the past 9 months have been really giving it to the U.S. Navy. They have been putting in work on the fucking Navy, and it doesn't get reported in Western media because how could it? The United States has $750 million in national defense spending. The NDAA just got reauthorized, 800 some plus billion dollars to the fucking Pentagon, these fucking ghouls. And yet the Houthis, who is like the rebels in Star Wars, right? Like they got a little something, but they wasn't really fucking with the empire when it came to equipment. The Houthis. I want you guys to listen to this story. This was a few days ago. And just the casual nature in which it's reported by American mainstream media. The way it's so casually reported, you would think this shit happens all the time. But if it does happen all the time, then $832 billion to the Pentagon is money that is well wasted. However, if the story, as you guys are about to hear it reported, if it sounds like bullshit, then it probably is some bullshit. It's probably some bullshit. Let me direct you to the news out of the Red Sea pertaining to the U.S. Navy. And remember who I just shouted out. Big up to the H people, all the H's, Triple H in throughout the region. Shout out to all the Triple H's, and you know who you are. You know who you are. Shout out, y'all know who the Triple H's are. Y'all know who the Triple H's are. The people in Gaza, the people in Lebanon, and the people in Yemen. Triple H choke slamming the U.S. Navy. And listen how the media allowed themselves to be spun on some bullshit. Go ahead, Will, run that.
A developing story out of the Middle East. The U.S. has mistakenly shot down one of its own aircrafts. This was over the Red Sea near Yemen earlier today. According to U.S. Central Command, the USS Gettysburg mistakenly shot down an FA-18. Both pilots ejected safely, but one has minor injuries. This happened as the U.S. was conducting airstrikes against a missile storage facility operated by the Houthis, which is an Iranian-backed rebel group.
Wait. So in every lie, there is some truth. So the truth in that bullshit right there is where this incident occurred. It occurred in the Red Sea off the coast of Yemen. Oh, what a coincidence. Did you know that the Houthis have been literally let the chopper sang on Tel Aviv specifically? They had a supersonic missile get through in recent days through the Iron Dome defenses. The Houthis is not bullshitting out here, okay? So in the factuals is it occurred where it said it occurred. The U.S. Navy allegedly targeting Houthi missile depots. And y'all shot down one of y'all own jets. FA-18. How much that cost? $56 billion. No, not billion. Probably. How much one of them F-18s cost? I know we got some smarties in the chat. I'm going to guess 50 million, 50, 60 million, 20 million, 30 million, but tens of millions of dollars, right? This is why this is bullshit. There's no way that the U.S. military shot down one of its own jets. That did not happen. I'm going to tell you how. Because who the fuck else? Who were you shooting at? Yemen doesn't have an air force. Yemen doesn't have a fleet of F-18s, okay? No, it was only, I'm guessing, U.S. and perhaps Israeli jets in the sky. They were like jets in the sky. No fucking way. They shot down their own shit. What do y'all think likely happened? What do y'all think likely happened? I'm going to tell y'all what likely happened. And Will, I'm going to need you to pull this brother's name because you know I pulled this nigga off TikTok. And TikTok font be like 6. Now I don't be getting everybody's name, but I follow this youngin because it gives me a different perspective of the region. And listen, again, when we talk about propaganda, we have to understand that truth is always not going to come in the form of legacy and mainstream journalists. Yours truly in fucking included. And this is why I'd like to amplify and show the work of other content creators, because you guys, content creators are the new journalists, okay? As much as that is a paradigm shift for the industry and for the way that we consume media. I think that previous package we just saw was from ABC News. ABC News loses credibility if they're reporting bullshit. if y'all just gonna repeat whatever the fuck the Pentagon said, then you can't be trusted. But my mans, we about to show y'all here from the Ticket of Talks. This is how we rock, and Will gonna tell us who he is after we run him. He gonna tell us, because I'm telling you, a lot of the things that he has reported over the past year and some change that I've been following them have borne out to be true. They have borne out to be accurate, and I have no reason to disbelieve, because others have also reported regarding the Houthis and their level of ability to strike at giant military powers such as Israel and the United States. That shit is not as easy as it looks. Okay. But anyway, go ahead, Will. Let's go ahead and run my bro.
And the Houthis from Yemen have humiliated the United States military, this time by shooting down one of the aircraft from the U.S. Navy. But the U.S. Navy, as you can see, has come out with a statement. So has mainstream media in the United States, saying that it wasn't the Houthis that shot down the U.S. aircraft, but it was the United States who shot down their own aircraft mistakenly in a case of friendly fire. U.S. CENTCOM released a statement saying that they were battling the Houthis in the Red Sea, and there was a lot of missiles being launched in the direction of the Houthis, and one of them accidentally hit their own aircrafts. In a statement by the Houthis, they said, and I quote, "If the U.S. Navy had not disclosed the reason behind the crash of the American aircraft, then why did the USS Harry Truman, the aircraft carrier, shut down all its systems and engines near Sudan yesterday?" And the United States Navy is in a lose-lose situation, because I don't know what is more embarrassing, admitting that you were dumb enough to shoot down your own multi-million-dollar planes like the Israelis, or admitting that it was the Houthis, one of the poorest organizations in the world, that shot down the plane.
Yes, indeed, babe.
And
let this be. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry, Will.
That was the, let me get his name right. The _inconvenient _truth 88.
My man's. I think he's Southeast Asian. Big up to the Southeast Asian, because he just had a recent video going all the way in on the Indian Americans that are being named to Trump's cabinet. Kash Patel, Vivek Ramaswamy, he was going in on them niggas. But yeah, shout out to the inconvenient truth 88 out here, giving great reporting. And again, he does source a lot of his information. And I am inclined to believe that it is more likely that this jet was shot out of the sky than it by an enemy, so-called enemy of the U.S. military, than it is to think that the U.S. would have shot down their own jet. Now, are they that bumbling and incompetent? Sure. But I find it interesting that the military would rather admit to being bumbling and incompetent than the fact that one of their multi-million-dollar top of the line technologies got blasted out of the sky by who is the Star Wars? I never saw all the later Star Wars. Who was the first ones? You know what? Regardless, it's about to come out wrong. Regardless, but my point is, not high tech here. They are not importing the latest tech here from China in Yemen. They are doing what they know how to do. And apparently they know how to do quite a bit, considering their circumstance, right? And that's really impressive. And I just would like to shout out to Triple H. You know what I'm saying? The H in Yemen, the H in in Lebanon, the H in God. Like, shout out, because the resistance continues on. Because the genocide continues on. And if you don't know, Israel continues to slaughter thousands of people in the north of Gaza. They continue to attack refugee camps. They continue to attack humanitarian food workers and aid workers. And they continue to assassinate journalists, healthcare workers, including nurses and doctors. Just deplorable doesn't even begin to encapsulate the actions that Israel continues to do in Palestine. And we can't ever forget it. At the same time, it's important that we attune ourselves to these stories about the resistance and the small victories. Now, mind you, Israel came right back and attacked Sana'a, which is, I believe, the capital of Yemen, targeting, according to reports, a power plant and some other what Israel called, the IDF forces called strategic sites, military sites, regardless, which is likely bullshit also. But so for every dub, you know, there are consequences for those. But I want to just keep in mind, when you see stories like this pop across the national news, if you happen to consume national news or even your local news, and you hear that shit and you're like, does that even make any sense? Question it. Because if it doesn't make any sense, then it's probably not true. And part of us being able to deprogram and see with clarity the way that the United States especially operates in the world, and also the way that people resisted the United States, the way that is sanitized and not included in the discourse, not included in the report. They didn't even mention the Houthis in the ABC package. They just said the shit happened in the Red Sea in Yemen. Didn't even mention, as U.S. were in firefights with Houthi rebels. Oh, they did mention the Houthis. They did. But okay, guess what? The Houthis put out statements. Hamas puts out statements. Hezbollah puts out statements. Do you ever really hear the West reporting on the counterpoint coming from the so-called opposition, the so-called enemy? No, because the media is the apparatus of the empire, of the apparatus of the state. So they're only going to report the one side. That's the U.S. side. And that's the side most full of bullshit and nonsense. As Kelechi Okafor would say, full of nonsense and ingredients. Go follow Kelechi Okafor while you're at it, by the way. So that was one story that I wanted to show y'all pertaining to how the propaganda continues on one front. On the next front, because I mean, there's so many fronts, gang. I believe this year was the highest on record, or since people have been counting, for police involved murders, unalivings in the U.S. this year in 2024. I probably won't talk about that until after the new year, because tragically we still have some time to go. And by the way, just a heads up, no show next Tuesday because it is New Year's Eve. So we will be returning back Friday, January the 3rd. Holy crap. We will be returning on Friday, January the 3rd, 2025. So don't look for us on Tuesday. But hold on. What's my next? I hear Bagheera out here tapping. I want to know what she's doing. Okay. So there's a story I'm a little concerned about. And maybe it's a something, maybe it's a nothing. But I'm still a little shell-shocked from the COVID epidemic of 2020 to 2022, even though COVID is still very much a pandemic, although it is now endemic in our population. So COVID is just going to be circulating forever, I guess, like the common cold and flu virus, etc. But the avian flu, I want you guys to really be paying attention to this, because Avian flu is bird flu, okay? What's avian? You know what? I don't care. I was about to try to do some etymology, and I'm like, you know what? No, I am not that gifted to be breaking down the word roots and origins. Fuck all that shit. Avian flu is bird flu. We clear the flu that affects the fucking birds. By the way, the avian flu has been doing up the birds for the past several years. Bird populations are way down lots of places. That is a tragedy in itself, but unfortunately not the main story. The avian flu has now jumped from bird to mammals. 2 species. The avian flu has been transmitted to cattle, right? And it has also been transmitted, I guess maybe three mammals. It has also been transmitted to people. There have been dozens of cases of avian flu contracted by humans in the United States. In fact, there is one case where a person, I believe, still remains in critical condition in intensive care on a ventilator because this strain of avian flu that this person contracted really jumped on them pretty bad. But it's also been transmitted to cats, and it's not good for the cats. And I really wanted to tell y'all about this, even though I don't fuck what I got. If you have cats, if you fuck with cats, if you like cats, if you love cats, if your mama got a cat, if you have a cat, if you fuck with felines, you gotta watch out for your cat pertaining to this bird flu, because even though people have been shown to be somewhat resilient, I suppose, from contracting this avian flu, it is extremely fatal in felines. And there was a story out of Washington State where there was a big cat sanctuary. And I'm not 100% clear on how the cats contracted the avian flu. If I'm not mistaken, it was through the meat, it was through the food. Now, what does this mean? So, because the avian flu has been transmitted to cattle, to beef, right? It is in the food, the food chain. And these cats, I suppose, were at this big cat sanctuary in Washington State. These cats were fed raw meat that must have been infected with the avian flu. And a bunch of these big cats died, including a tiger, right? And I've seen warnings coming from veterinarians saying that they are seeing this avian flu show up in felines, and it's like almost 100% fatal. It's a respiratory and a neurological issue in cats, right? And they were suggesting that if you have indoor-outdoor cats or outdoor cats, that you keep them inside for the foreseeable future because avian flu is going around. Now, this is what makes the shit scary. And I'm about to put up a video from a virologist. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Get the experts. But part of the reason I'm even bringing this up is for a number of reasons. Number one, again, I'm concerned about the cats and wanted to make cat owners aware that this shit is a possibility. But I am remembering something that one of our Fire Fam members and OG remixer Zenzi Bell was telling us in the chat recently. I think in the remix chat, Zenzi Bell was like, well, y'all don't talk about how dangerous Trump is. And my pushback was, well, they're both dangerous. Everybody's fucking dangerous. But when I started seeing the news about the avian flu, I said, oh, right. This is some of the ways in which Trump potentially could be uniquely dangerous, though I submit that the Biden administration also did not handle the COVID pandemic all that great. However, you know, it was easy to fumble once Trump had started the fumble, right? So with Robert F. Kennedy Jr. being considered, you know, the head of the Department of Health and Human Services, which oversees the Centers for Disease Control and NIH and FDA and all that, I'm like, are these really the niggas we want in charge? Are these really the niggas we want in charge when it comes to a potential pandemic, second pandemic? Now, look, again, I'm not here to be alarmist. However, I personally am still in a bit of shell shock from COVID. I think COVID is among the worst things I've ever seen in my life, right? The amount of death, the amount of disregard, the amount of utter incompetence coming from the state, the amount of ignorance and misinformation being pushed simultaneously by government officials and lay people alike. I mean, the shittiest of shit shows for people who were chronically ill or elderly. Like, we just really saw over 1 million people. And again, my guess is that the numbers of people dead from COVID were massively undercounted. But fuck it, we'll say 1 million for shits and gigs, which is again still a ridiculous amount of people to have lost in a 2-year time span in one country, which is fucking preposterous. Allegedly the richest country in the world with blah 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 blah. So I don't know if I have the confidence in these folks who are incoming into power to manage, recognize, contain, or deal with another potential pandemic. But I want us to hear from a virologist who can maybe explain it with a little bit more clarity than I have. But again, I don't think my concern is unfounded considering what we have recently experienced. And we live in wild times. So, you know, any and every fucking thing seems to be trying to happen. so we should not be letting our guard down, even though our guards are way down. But anyway, let's go to the doctor. And Will, coming out of the video, could you please, well, I think this person names themselves Dr. Terry something, but we'll check it out. Go ahead, Will, run that, please. Thank you.
Louisiana, there's a person fighting for their life on a ventilator from bird flu. That's a type of influenza that person picked up from handling probably some dead birds on his property. There have been 60 cases of bird flu, most of which have had mild symptoms and people have gotten over, 30 in California. California has declared this a disaster and is declaring this a major problem and are looking out for it. Why are people so worried about bird flu when some people just get over it? We have been worried about bird flu for a long time, and we have been watching out for it for a long time. By the way, I'm Dr. Terry Simpson. Besides being a surgeon, prior to this, I was a virologist and actually trained in virology and have published in this field. If you're interested in information, give me a follow. Here is the problem. Bird flu is highly more contagious than coronavirus ever was. Coronavirus, remember, if you can think back to February of 2020, started with just a couple of cases that came to the United States before it went out like a wildfire. We're very concerned that bird flu would be even worse. The last major pandemic that we saw about this was the Spanish flu, unfortunately misnamed, which cost the lives of about 25% of people in the United States, effectively targeting individuals who are young men and women. Now, we don't know what the bird flu will become, how it will become, or what it will become. We do know we have better tools against it. We do know that we can develop a vaccine against it very quickly with mRNA technology, which of course will create a controversy among the anti-vaxxers. But be vigilant. Bird flu is something that is here to stay and will probably start creeping through the population. And if it makes the leap where it goes from human to human, we are going to have a major pandemic on our hands. And we will need to be careful again. I know nobody wants to hear this. Nobody wants to think about another pandemic. The last one was horrific in a lot of ways, and we've learned a lot of lessons from that, but we just don't want to have another one. So do what you can. A, don't play with dead birds. Don't pick them up. Dispose of them very carefully and make sure you take care of the instruments of disposal. Number 2, don't drink raw milk. We have found bird flu fragments in that. Drink pasteurized milk. That's the one thing you can do. And number 3, listen to your healthcare professionals. They will help guide you through if we have to go through this again, and God help us, I hope we don't.
So that's one of RFK's tenets, right? He wants to make it so that people can purchase and drink raw milk. I don't understand the basis for that. From what I do understand, there's supposedly some enzymes in raw milk that go away during the pasteurization process. But shout out to I be wanting to shout out historical figures, but I'm like, well, wait a minute, was he a real piece of shit in his personal life? I was gonna shout out to Louis Pasteur, but Louis Pasteur might have had slaves or some shit, so I don't know if I can shout out Louis Pasteur. But however, the pasteurization is important, right? When they heat up the milk to a temperature that kills any potential viruses and pathogens, right? This is part of how foodborne illness has not been killing millions and millions of people as technology has advanced, or better food care methods have proceeded, because we're not drinking raw milk because we don't fucking have to, because we figured out a different method to eliminate the things that could actually hurt us. But if RFK, anyway, I don't care. I do care. What I'm saying is RFK and his non-scientific background, because he's an attorney, right? Non-scientific background. He's not a medical doctor. I don't believe he studied biology or virology, or all the things that are involved with likely heading over a agency of the government that has so much control over public health, like the Health and Human Services. He's not qualified to do this. So if we are on the precipice potentially of another outbreak of highly contagious disease, I'm not certain what that looks like. And per Dr. Terry in the video, he said the difference between coronavirus, COVID, and the bird flu is that COVID, as I mentioned before, was jumping on chronically ill people and elderly people, people with compromised immune systems in full force. However, bird flu, avian flu, has the potential to take out perfectly healthy folks, young, middle-aged, or what have you, right? That's terrifying. And in the Spanish flu outbreak, I appreciate the doctor in the video again saying that the Spanish flu was it improperly named, because what is called the Spanish flu outbreak of 1918 or whatever, it started here. It began in the US, and the US military, the propaganda machine, ginned up the term Spanish flu, try to put that shit on Spain. Spain is like, the fuck, we was just over here being Spanish. This is not our flu. We do not appreciate it being called the Spanish flu. That is the Kansas fucking flu. But no. So that flu outbreak of early 1900s, whatever. I am so distracted. Bagheera is over here panting and stomping around, and I'm trying to get my thoughts together. And all I'm hearing is panting and stomping around. So my apologies if I'm meandering. Let me try to get my shit back together. My point is this, y'all. Watch out for this shit. Most importantly, watch out for your cats. Like I said, it may or may not be murking people right away. It is absolutely murking cats. Okay. All kinds of cats. House cats, indoor, outdoor cats, big cats, tigers, lynxes, all kinds of shit. So please be on guard regarding your cats. There is a cat food recall from a raw pet food provider, because one house cat has died from consuming raw cat food, whatever the fuck. I don't know. So be mindful that this stuff is percolating in the ether, and I hope that the public health people are doing what they can to try to mitigate the spread and try to make sure that avian flu doesn't start jumping from human to human, because it's going to be bad. Okay, Bagheera, calm down a little bit. Did I have one more on the propaganda side? I think I did. Hold on, let me pull it up. Thank you guys for watching. Yes. Okay. Now, this is a story you guys are aware of, and it also doesn't make sense. And so, hold on. Let me reset. This week in New York City, on the metro, there was a murder of a unhoused Black woman who was doused in an accelerant and tragically set on fire by a man who has now been arrested and charged with first-degree murder. And this Black woman has yet to be identified. There's a lot of questions surrounding, number one, who she is. Number two, why nobody bothered to help this woman. And number three, what the fuck does the NYPD do in the goddamn subway besides target and shoot people for jumping the turnstile? It seems that when there's actual violence or violent criminal behavior that happens in the New York Metro, New York City subway, NYPD showing up late as shit. NYPD ain't preventing a fucking thing bad from happening seemingly in the New York subway at all. At all. But don't let niggas be out here jumping the turnstile because they've got bullets, they've got tear gas, they've got tasers, they've got arrests, they've got all of the smoke for the turnstile jumpers. But when it comes to the femiciders, the murderers, they can't really do much about that. So I just got a quick package. So go ahead and run that package for me, Will.
New York, the man arrested in the horrific burning death of a woman on a subway train is now charged with first-degree murder. Police say 33-year-old Sebastian Zapeta is a native of Guatemala who was in the U.S. illegally. He's accused of setting fire to the victim, then watching her burn to death. Police arrested him hours after Sunday's attack after a group of high school students said they recognized the suspect from photos of the crime scene. The victim has not yet been identified.
So the video of this horrific murder, which I'm not going to show, I'm going to assume that you all know what I'm talking about. Maybe you've seen clips or excerpts, but we don't need to revisit that trauma. But what you do need to know, in case you have not seen the video, is that this Black woman was sitting at the end of the subway car, and the car stops, and she's approached by this man. She appears to be asleep. She's approached by this man who douses her with this liquid and sets her on fire. And she stands up. And what I find, there's a lot about this that I find strange. But the cowardice of all the fucking people who witnessed this horrific incident, to the person that pulled out their fucking phone and started recording, you are a grand piece of shit. To the cops that were there, seemingly unwilling to do anything to douse the flames of this woman as she experienced this. Again, it was horrific, doesn't even encapsulate, but it was really revealing to me about the consciousness and the integrity of people, where we are and how easy it is to watch a Black woman in particular burn and nobody step up for her, nobody intercede for her, nobody trying to help her in any way. And the person who did this to her remained on the scene, by the way, and sat down on a bench. The NYPD body cam shows him still present while this woman is dying, and the police don't even apprehend him because they're fucking super troopers out here, goof troopers, goof troop, the goofy niggas, right? Like, you have a murder that happens right on the subway, allegedly high crime in the New York subway is why the NYPD have been deployed and redeployed into the subway system to help fight fucking crime. And yet there go the murderer right there sitting on the scene, and the police walk right by this motherfucker. So not only did they not immediately apprehend the murderer, they also did not render aid to the victim. Fuck them. $10 billion. If I was a New Yorker, I would be incensed. I be cussing them cops every chance I got. like y'all don't catch the killer and you don't help the victim. Wow, you are here for why? What is your function exactly? Oh yes, to catch turnstile jumpers, not exactly here to enforce public safety. And because of this woman's race and gender and class status, she has been rendered almost an unimportant figure in this story, right? The news wants to harp upon the fact that the murderer is an undocumented migrant from Guatemala who has been deported once before and has now come back. And I'm like, well, that's not the story, okay? Because it did not absolutely have to be a migrant to attack and kill this Black woman. In fact, if we go around the country in the days before and the days after this terrible attack on the New York subway, my guess is that we would find Black women, but other women also, attacked and murdered by men known to them, men unknown to them. Wouldn't even shock me if another woman may have even been set on fire in somewhere, some way, in some capacity. What made this a national story is that it was captured on video. And it was so horrific. But I assure you, women in America specifically, but obviously globally included, but America is where we in America right now. And women in America who are the victims of femicide die horrific deaths, y'all. Again, there are stories that I see that I don't even bring here because that would literally be all I talked about. Is how another woman in America was murdered today by a man. There was this one story out of the Midwest. This lady was killed by her coworker. She ain't never kicked it with this nigga outside of work. Never, not once. He was obsessed with her. She told HR that he was making her uncomfortable. They disciplined him. He came to work and shot her dead. This happens all the time. The real issue in this New York subway story is, why is it that femicide is so prevalent in this goddamn country? This man being an undocumented migrant had shit to do with shit. If he had been her husband, that's the fucked up thing. If we would have been talking about a person who was documented or a legal citizen, this probably would not even made the news. If this was her partner who followed and stalked her and did this, that story would not have left New York City. I promise you that. But the fact that this killer is undocumented, that's the story. That's what's being sensationalized. That's what's being propagandized. That is what is supposed to make you and I believe that only undocumented migrants are causing harm in the country. Only undocumented migrants are attacking women innocently on the street. And some might argue, well, we shouldn't have, the undocumented migrants shouldn't be allowed here to commit crimes. I guess, give me that same energy for motherfuckers who was born here. Give me that same energy for natural born citizens. Like, again, I don't see the undocumented man as more of a threat than the natural born man here. What the fuck is the goddamn difference? Country of origin? If the outcome is the same, give a fuck where he was born. What's wrong with him? What's the matter with him? And even if this person, this murderer, is dealing with some sort of mental health issue, again, let it underscore the fact that we don't have a universal healthcare system to address mental health for undocumented persons or for natural born citizens in this goddamn country, right? Like, we ain't got it. So this man could be here and be in mental health crisis and not have the ability to get any help. And that's the other thing I want to point out too. This victim, who my heart is so broken for this woman, This woman, this poor woman, and god damn it, like it's such a crystal clear case, an extreme one, of course, but a clear case of the ways in which women, and black women especially, just be minding our fucking business. This lady couldn't have been minding her business, even more so. She's in the train, sleep, quiet, not talking, not yelling at nobody, not asking nobody for money. And she couldn't have even been left alone simply to live. That is what I want us to get to the bottom of at some point. At some point. It may not happen in my lifetime, but I need us to get there at some point, man. What is this? What is this desire? What is this misogyny about? That a woman unknown to you, a disturbed man, a certain man with a particular mindset, just feels as though it's time for her to die. And we can attribute some of that to mental health illness. We can, but I assure you, all the dudes who killed women this week, all of them was not suffering from mental health issues. Okay, they was hating women and decided to exercise their power to harm that woman. And femicide is something that we don't discuss in the context of the US. You always hear femicide referred to as an issue, particularly in the global South, right? In Latin America and Africa and Asia. Oh, the femicide rate. Yeah, you know America competes very well in that global femicide rate. Does very good globally with the femicide in terms of ranking towards the top. Michael Mack, thank you so much for your support. We appreciate you coming through as a Fire Fam member. And thank you so much. Mike Mack just dropped us something cool in the Cash App. Appreciate you so much for that, Mike Mack. But like, my point is this, y'all. The propaganda around undocumented migrants being the driving force behind crime in America is something that is meant to continually divide, especially Black communities from brown communities. And it's bullshit. And I see Black people in New York falling for this shit. I see Black people in Chicago falling for this shit. I see Black people in LA falling for this shit. Black people in Texas. And it's like, y'all need to get it through y'all heads that the migrants, our Latino brothers and sisters, they are not our enemy. Okay. These are isolated cases. These are exaggerated instances in which the perpetrator happens to be undocumented, but that does not mean that the migrants are the scourge driving violent crime in America. False. That's false. And I just don't appreciate the way that people like Eric Adams likes to play this up. You know what I mean? I don't like the brown black divide at all. Because we have a common fucking enemy, the whites. Like, come on, let's be for real. Like, who has been the constant enemy of Black people born in America? The whites. Who has been the constant enemy of Latino people in their home countries? America ran by the whites. So let's stop bullshitting. Let's stop deluding ourselves. Let's stop pretending as though it's not U.S. federal policy, foreign policy, domestic policy that is driving these rates of undocumented people and not giving them the tools that they need in order to come here. And when I say assimilate, I mean get your paperwork so you can work, right? That's the goal, right? That's what they want. That's what the folks them coming here across the border, they want to come here and work, and we should let them. Like, I don't see the point of denying them. For why? They're taking the Black jobs. Get the fuck out my face, okay? Every fucking job is a Black job, bitch. Name a job. Surgeon, sanitation worker, everything in fucking between, Black jobs. So miss me with the Latinos are coming and taking our fucking jobs. They aren't. Knock it off. So I want to send love to the family and the lady who is still yet to be identified. It's not clear whether or not they will be able to identify her. According to news reports, they weren't able to pull fingerprints from her because of how badly burned she was. But again, I wanted to again drive home the point that police do not keep people safe. Police do not catch and find and apprehend the criminals. Police find the turnstile jumpers. Police find those that commit crimes against CEOs. Eventually, they eventually find them. Allegedly, and even allegedly find them. Police find those that commit crimes against other police, right? They are not here to keep everybody safe. And if you are poor, if you are black, if you are brown, if you are a woman, if you are gay, if you are non-binary, if you are disabled, that puts your level of protection or expectation of protection, it should be way down here. And I check off several of those boxes, and trust me, my expectation for police protection is way down here, way down here. Let me take a quick break here. Thank you all so much for joining us. It's Burning Down with Kim Brown. You're joining us on the last show of 2024. We will be taking a break until next Friday, January the 3rd. So set your bells and notifications. Also on Black Liberation Media, the Remix Morning Show will be on hiatus until I think the 7th of January. That sounds right. So, yep. Yes, so the first Tuesday in January, I think, is the 7th. So expect the Remix Morning Show back live on your Black Liberation Media joint. Thank you all so much. Will, I did see a super chat float up there somewhere.
I was going to say thank you to Mama Lorraine for the super chat. She says I have to hike mine a lot higher. All the best. Happy New Year. Thank you, Mama Lorraine, for that. Green Thumb Gang. Don't matter how much money, plane destroyed, pilot dies, billionaire gets a new order, a new pilot. Thank you for the super chat.
That part. Thank you, Gang Green Thumb.
And 2Fs, just your friendly BFF fire. Nothing to see here.
What's a frowny?
Yep. And Latif with the turnaround. Troll only fan starter top tier $2. So he got a plan for y'all trolls, because it's a lot of trolls in there tonight.
Hey, what's up, trolls? Come on through. Happy New Year to you hoes.
We wanted to quickly say happy birthday next week to Holly Horn. And also positive energy and love and strength to our guy, Infinite Content. He said he's in the hospital right now. We just want to send him some good energy, because we care about the good bruv. Hope he's all right.
Infinite Content, I hope you were feeling and doing better. Don't like to hear that, but thank you. I appreciate you checking in with us and giving us an update. Please keep us updated, Infinite. We love you. Happy early birthday to Holly Horn. Happy love going out to all the Capricorns, Capricorn season. Mama Lorraine, thank you so much. Gang Green Thumb, to Shep, and trolls. Y'all don't even know why y'all mad. Y'all just come in here trolling. Y'all saw the tig old biddies and you couldn't help yourself but to stop by and gander. Yes, I get it. You know, they're nice, very nice. I've been told that lots of times, and that's fine. I'm not even upset with that. But y'all don't even understand why y'all mad. Trump is about to drive y'all specifically off a cliff. And, you know, we're used to being driven off the cliff lots. But this is going to be a shock for the rest of yous. So I don't even know why y'all upset. Y'all need to be upset at Alania Muskie, because make it make sense. I mean, not a shock at all, because Biden, him as well. But Trump, just so bold and blatant with it in terms of the pandering to the billionaire class, like with no shame, no shame. Trump doesn't give a fuck about y'all, and I hate to break it to you, but that's okay. Hard head make a soft ass. So we're going to get into my palate cleansers and we're going to run through these because some of these really warm my heart. They warm my heart. And I didn't want to get too serious, even though there was lots of stories we could have gone with. So where am I going first? Well, fuck it. While we talk about Luigi, while I'm trying to duck and dodge talking about Luigi, because again, my opinion is limited because I'm not able to, with any certainty, compare and contrast the pictures that everybody says, well, this don't even look like him. See, this picture that they released don't look like this man that has been temple tapered up. So I have to leave that debate to the sided. You know what I'm saying? Y'all can debate that amongst yourselves. However, the act that happened that we all know about, because Google was probably hating, so we're going to speak about these things very judiciously, obviously has garnered a lot of support. And if you would like to express your support to Mr. Maglione, somebody has put out his address. He's locked up in Brooklyn, but you can write him letters. And from what I understood, Luigi is on 23-1. He is in solitary confinement. He is locked down 23 hours a day, allowed out 1 hour a day to rec. And, he gets to walk laps around the basketball court or whatever the fuck. He doesn't have any access really to the outside in the form of electronic media, obviously no phone, no iPad. Though I have to say, the level of electronic device access behind the wall, I don't understand it, and I'm not meant to understand it, and that's fine. I don't understand why some people have a lot of access to electronic devices whilst incarcerated and some have none, but regardless, apparently Luigi has none. But if you want to send him correspondence, someone made a nifty schmifty video. And again, the tongue in cheekiness is what I appreciate here. And I hope to God the information is accurate. So if you want to write Luigi, this guy is about to tell you where to do it. Go ahead.
Hey ladies, if you want to send letters to your husband here in Brooklyn at the federal prison, here you go. This is what you need to put on that envelope to that love letter to your husband, Luigi Mangione. You're going to put his full name, followed by his inmate number, which is registration 52503-511. You're going to address it to MDC Brooklyn. That stands for the Metropolitan Detention Center. Their P.O. Box is 329002, Brooklyn, New York 11232. Remember, they will open the mail and read it. You cannot send any packages, okay? You can't send any packages, but I do believe you can send books, both hard and soft cover. And I believe you can also send magazines. It just can't be anything too provocative that may lead to disruption of prison operations or the morale. So, if you want to send letters to them, again, that's going to be to the MDC Brooklyn, the Metropolitan Detention Center. Make sure you share this video and save it.
So apparently while Luigi was locked up briefly in Pennsylvania, he received thousands of dollars in support to his commissary. From what I understand, he was generously sharing it with his fellow inmates, as I kind of would expect this guy to. But I don't want to delve into whether or not this is the guy, is this not the guy. Ultimately, it's the act that I support, and I do not want to see a wrongly accused person be found guilty for something that they didn't do. So again, if you're in New York, well, first of all, if you want to send Luigi some support, some love, and it don't have to be Luigi, I want to come give you conjugal visit. It don't have and and I think that's kind of a younger woman's game, actually. But if you just want to let Luigi know he a G amongst G's out here, or he's falsely accused, or whatever you want to say. If you want to send some letter support to Luigi, you could do that. But I'm gonna keep keeping an eye on everything. Everything is looking shaky right now. I think more clarity will be gleaned after the new year. But regardless, the fact that the upper crust, the bourgeoisie, the ownership class, the capital class, the fact that they are so shook by this particular act, you gotta love it and support it. So there's my one palette cleanser. I don't know why I wanted to show y'all that, but I did, because I think somebody's gonna write Luigi. It's not gonna be me, but that's cool. My other palette cleanser. Where are we going next here? So, yes. So the colonizers, historical global colonizers, are being told about themselves. And in some instances, like places like Mali and Niger, France in particular has been told to pack its shit and get the fuck out. Pack up your bases, get the fuck out. Just like Ghana recently did to the US, has instructed the US that Ghana will no longer be hosting US military bases from its soil, which is awesome. But in one of the French colonies, a place called Mayotte, and I have to say, like New Caledonia, I had no idea where this place was. And shame on me. I consider myself proficient at world geography, and I was so ashamed that I had no idea where this country was. And apparently it's a French colony. Unfortunately, was struck by a natural disaster. A massive cyclone recently tore through Mayotte. Hope I'm saying it right. And French President Emmanuel Macron decided to go and tour, right? Macron was going to he almost did the George Bush Hurricane Katrina flyover, okay? Like he almost flew over the shit and immediately, went back home. He was going to only come and stay for a day and then immediately leave. But the people them was so upset. They were so furious at Emmanuel Macron. They could not help but to tell this cracker all about himself. And I love it when people get upset in French because it doesn't sound, it hits different. Let me just put it that way. It hits different. It's like if I'm getting cussed out in French, like, unless you say motherfucker, you got to say motherfucker. Like, dog, what am I supposed to do? Anyway, but Emmanuel Macron understood everything that the people were saying to him. And I love this because I love to see the colonizers and the ruling class get screamed on by regular people because they fucking deserve it and much more. So let's take a look at this clip. Let's go.
Jour après, Monsieur le Président, c'est pas normal. On le savait bien que ça pouvait.
Angry Mayotte locals heckled French President Emmanuel Macron during his visit to the cyclone-hit island. Macron was involved in several heated exchanges with people venting at the lack of support from Paris following the disaster. One resident confronted the president after he said his area received no water or rescue services for nearly a week.
Moi je viens de Ouangani, l'eau n'y est pas, il n'y a aucun service qui est là. Non mais c'est normal, au bout de 6 jours. Après 6 jours c'est normal. Vous trouvez que c'est normal ça? On ne sait même pas à combien. Non monsieur, mais si c'est ce que vous avez dit à la télé. Et c'est ce que vous dites alors. 6 jours après, Monsieur le Président, c'est pas normal.
In another exchange, crowds booed the president as he spoke, heckling him as he tried to calm the situation. In one clip, a frustrated Macron begins to lose his cool, swearing and shouting at the crowd, accusing them of sowing division.
pas la France pour vous dire vous seriez 10 000 fois plus dans la mer. Il n'y a pas un endroit de l'océan Indien où on aide autant les gens. C'est la réalité. Il faut que tout le monde se respecte. Mais bon sang, on tiendra jusqu'au bout si on est une équipe. Et donc vous avez un choix simple. Vous êtes une équipe, vous vous divisez. Mais si ça m'énerve.
The French president traveled to the Indian Ocean island to survey the devastation inflicted by Cyclone Chido. Entire neighborhoods were destroyed, with potentially thousands feared dead, after the strongest cyclone in nearly a century ripped through the French territory. The storm flattened homes, knocked out electrical grids, crushed hospitals and schools, and damaged the airport's control tower. Winds from the Category 4 storm reached 136 miles per hour, also leaving over 70 people dead in nearby Mozambique. French authorities distributed 100 tons of food ahead of Macron's visit. Mayotte, located near Madagascar, is France's poorest territory. It has an estimated 100,000 undocumented migrants, complicating estimates of the death toll. The French territory has struggled with poverty, unemployment, violence, and the deepening migration crisis. It's made up of 2 main islands and has a population of just over 300,000 people, with 1/3 living in shanty towns made up of flimsy sheet metal roofed homes, easily destroyed by the storm. Macron decided to extend his stay as a mark of respect after initially only planning to stay for 1 day, claiming he didn't want to instill the idea that we come, we look, we leave. He also announced he would establish a compensation fund for uninsured people and would aim to rebuild Mayotte with new criteria.
Listen, turn them people loose. Let them people free. Make sure that they can unearth themselves under the colonial shackles of France. France is a terrible overseer. My God. Not to say that any of them, any of the colonizers, any of the imperial nations are good. But I've seen so much shit happening, particularly with French quote unquote colonies and or quote unquote territories. The issues that were happening in New Caledonia and the continuing issues that continue to happen in Martinique. What's the other French country in the Caribbean? It's not Grenada. What's the other French country? It's Guadeloupe. Martinique and Guadeloupe. I hope I got that right. Holy shit. Did you know that Martinique and Guadeloupe, the populations of those 2 Caribbean islands, French colonies, French territories, have been contaminated by a pesticide going back decades? And the entire islands, both islands, are deeply contaminated, right? It's nuts. And again, not shocking at all. Hold on, I'm sorry. My headband fell off. Very similar. You know, I'm looking at those scenes from Mayotte. I don't know what just happened here. I'm looking at those scenes from Mayotte, and I'm thinking about the people in Appalachia, the people in Western North Carolina, the people in Eastern Tennessee, the people in Western South Carolina, the people in Northeastern Georgia, the people that are still freezing their asses off in tents after the hurricanes came through and washed away towns, washed away infrastructure, rendered thousands of people unhoused and unemployed, and looking to the government for fucking assistance. And I'm telling you, like, the United States, France, the UK, like, these are some of the richest countries in the world. If they wanted to fix the shit, they could fucking fix the shit. And for all you patriots, all you patriot trolls in the comments, look at how, well, we could say Biden. Yes, absolutely Biden. But keep in mind, Biden is your man's too. Yeah, he is. Oh, yes, he is. Joe Biden was cool with all the congressional Klansmen, all the Strom Thurmans, all the Robert Byrds, okay? Joe Biden is more Republican than Democrat. Make no mistake about it. And I'm definitely pretty confident that once Trump gets into office, he's not going to do more for those people suffering in Appalachia than his predecessor. Because guess what, Patriot trolls? If this shit was China, China been had that shit fixed. China would have had that shit put back together in a month, okay? Y'all keep beating that drum for Western capitalism all you want to. That shit is ineffective. It is not getting the job done. Let me keep rolling here through my palate cleansers. So I love to see the colonizers get screamed on. Amongst my faves. What else do we have here? Yes, more screaming. Love this also. This time, it is a white woman giving the absolute fucking business to the Los Angeles Board of Police Commissioners. If I got that right. So we know, we have followed in the history of this channel how fucked up LAPD is, how fucked up the LA County Sheriff's Department is. Terrible. Shout out to Cerise Castle, who did the whole piece and series about the gangs happening amongst the LA sheriff's deputies. However, in the interest of quote unquote police accountability, shout out to the police accountability report, by the way. But so the LA Board of Police Commissioners has these public meetings scheduled, and they give it under the auspices of transparency and accountability and opportunities for the people, the public, to come address, those in power, etc. But this one white woman came to the meeting with energy, with smoke. And I need all the whites to pay attention. I need y'all to take notes, okay? See, because this is the ways in which when we say be a Karen for righteousness, this is exactly what I mean, or along the vein of what I mean. Because what you're about to see is a cursing that is deserved from this woman towards this particular body. And it is a cursing that a Black woman would not have been permitted to give in the same way that a woman of color, a Latina, an Asian woman would not have been allowed to go off in the same way. Because when Black people and non-white people raise their voices, for some reason, people fear for their lives. And somehow the police must be called because elevated voices and profanity coming out of the mouths of non-white people is disorderly conduct. but when the whites do it, they were just passionate. They had to get that off their chest. Okay, fine. Get it off your chest and be a Karen for righteousness. So we'll make sure we start this from the beginning, because I don't want us to miss one word of what Laura got to say. I don't know her name is Laura. But anyway, go ahead, Will. Hit that joint.
At the top of your little speech that you do every week, Southers, you say that this board is committed to accessibility for the community, and yet here we are still having these meetings at 9:30 a.m. on a fucking Tuesday, and you guys couldn't even manage to have your stupid community meetings in the third or fourth quarter of this year. Get it together. So there have been several donations in the past few weeks for various youth programs, and like many of the other speakers today, it honestly can't be said often enough that LAPD has no business running youth mentoring programs. It's objectively a moral cesspit. It's corrupt from the top down. The elected head of your fucking rank and file runs a security company which hires cops fired from the LAPD, which is very fucking scary, very hard to get fired from the LAPD. Some of them fired for violent offenses, hires them to be security guards at Walgreens, and then stamps them out of their wages. The head of this accountability body is on the payroll of a genocidal foreign army. He legally used government databases to spy on his ex-wife. He started an organization which would employ a police officer who molested over 200 kids and never said anything about it, never distanced himself from it. And the stuff that I have heard in the last 2 years of attending these meetings is like the fact that you think that you can run programs for kids is truly disgusting. And just off the top of my head, what I can remember, a new recruit arrested for child molestation, a supervisor fucking their subordinate on the job, and I think it was the wife of another officer, an officer who sexually abused a mentally ill woman and forced her to have sex with an animal. I mean,
Gabriel Spada.
you blew up a truck full of fireworks and killed people and blew up their houses. You beat the shit out of protesters. You kill people in high-speed chases. You shoot them in the worst moments of their lives when they come to you for help. And you have the nerve to run fucking youth mentoring programs? It's literally mind-blowing. I want to talk with my time remaining about something that happened on Wednesday. There was a sweep at an encampment in CD11. There is a woman there that I'm friends with who lives in an RV. She obviously is coping with a lot, and she was talked into voluntarily giving up her car to be towed by an LAPD officer. She didn't understand what was happening to her, and she wasn't allowed to get any of her shit out of her car, so she had no clothes, she had no underwear, she had no food. And you know what the dumbest thing is? When I call that fucking tow company, they'll let us come down and get her shit out of the car. But that LAPD officer couldn't give her 5 minutes to get her stuff out of the car before they took it away. And also tricked her into signing something, into voluntarily giving up her vehicle, which she did not realize she was signing. Fuck all you guys.
Hey, listen, if we've got any pro-cop trolls in the building, I suggest you run that video back and just Google some of the instances and some of the atrocities that lady was referencing as it pertains to things that Los Angeles police officers have knowingly done on the job, while on the job, employed, All that shit is accurate and fucking true. These people have no business running youth programs when they horribly abuse not only youth, but disabled people, people in mental health crisis, abuse their partners, abuse their subordinates. Yeah, the institution of policing is not pro people doing well. it is pro the billionaire and the property owning class doing well to make sure that their property and all their shit is looked out and taken care of. But LAPD, they also need $10 billion roundabouts to do all the terrible things outlined by that Karen for righteousness. Listen, white women and men. In the new year, I want you to continue to explore your powers. Again, you got them, whether you know it or not. But that lady, yes, that cuss these motherfuckers, tell them all about themselves. Hold up the mirror and show them who they are. Remind them who they are. Remind them of who they have in their ranks. White people, you can do so much in America. You can do so much. You can speak so much truth to power and no one's going to shoot you. And you should really take advantage of that, Do that as much as you're able, which is as much as you're able. Please and thank you. We appreciate it. So I guys hope you like that. So on this last palate cleanser video. Oh my God. Why does Bagheera want to fight? Does anybody want a 16-year-old dog? She is free to a good home. She has a fresh bag of dog food. You can come pick her up. Bagheera pooped in my house 2 days in a row. 2 days in a row. I said, oh my God. She has diapers too. Let me tell you what she did real quick, and then I'm gonna finish up my show. I put the diaper on her at night. She didn't have to wear the diaper during the day because I let her out. She will go outside and go to the bathroom, but overnight into the morning hours, it's iffy. it could go either way. It's 50-50. So if I want to rest well, put the diaper on her. So I'm upstairs, I'm asleep. It's in morning time. I'm waking up. I hear Bagheera start to stir around, and I'm like, oh, well, I can lay here for a few more minutes because Bagheera has a diaper on her. But something told me to get up and go down and check on Bagheera. Why This nigga took the diaper off. Don't ask me how. She doesn't have thumbs. I don't know how. Don't ask me how. diaper dry and not on her butt. And a puddle of piss and a couple of toads, pardon me for the graphic nature of this description, next to the dry diaper on the floor. I said, somebody come get this nigga. I said, come get her. Come get her. The diaper is dry and she pissed next to the dry diaper. Get somebody, come pick her up. Pick her up and take her with you. Psych, I could never get rid of Bagheera. You couldn't get my mama said you couldn't give me $5 million for Bagheera. But 6 million, we can talk. I wouldn't think 5. But if you got 6, we can discuss. So literally, this last palate cleanser is nothing pertaining to current events, to politics. And Will, I want, when we come back from the video, and be sure to start it from the beginning, I want you to tell us the bruv's name, because I played one of this guy's videos before. He is an African living in America, and his TikToks are hilarious. They're quite observational. And I'm trying to pinpoint exactly where this brother is from. I heard him say that he was born in Cameroon, but I think he may have been raised in Kenya, but I'm not sure. But this applies to everybody. If you're a black woman, watch this. If you're a white man, stay tuned and watch this. Black men, watch this also. This is a little something for everybody. So my guy is, again, from Africa, living in America, and he has concerns about the level of Kenyan women who date white men. Okay, apparently this is a thing. Okay, and my bruv was deeply surprised to know that Kenyan women were carrying on with white men in America. He didn't know. He didn't think that they was keeping that going here in the US. So he's about to say a lot of funny shit, and I do not even think he's intending to be funny. So just pay attention. He has obviously a very, very thick, beautiful African accent. So you can, everything he's saying is completely understandable. And especially the name that the Kenyan and Ugandan women apparently have for the white mandem, which is hilarious. So anyway, I'm going to push the mic away so I don't laugh, because I've watched this several times, and every time I watch it, I fucking laugh out loud because this shit is hilarious. So I'm going to push the microphone away, and I hope you guys enjoy this. This is quite funny. Go ahead, Will, run it.
Kenyan ladies, please learn to date other Africans. Learn to date people that look like you. I don't understand where you guys got your obsession for white men. It's fine. I love white people as well so much. But you guys are exaggerating it. I mean, in Europe, it's normal. But I had no idea they still practice this in America. In Europe, a Kenyan or a Ugandan girl, these are top white hunters. Don't play. Don't play. Well, yeah, white hunters. When you see them in snacks, in lounge, in clubs, they are looking for their white. They have a special name they call white men, Muzungu. They will cook this, their food, Mama Chomba and Ugali and Mamagu, and they'll give to these white men. If you see them in club, they're not looking for your black, they're waiting for white Muzungu. Muzungu. Your obsession for white men needs to go into the Guinness Book of World Record. You guys are going crazy over white men. I don't understand why. I feel like maybe there is an award given to any Kenyan lady that brings a white man home. Can someone please tell us why? Like, why are you guys all about the color? Why can't you guys date? Like, to see a Kenyan girl dating an African is so rare, like the tears of a lion. I'm telling you guys, I'm telling you. Kenyans and their obsession for white men, it needs to go into the UNESCO World Heritage Record. These girls, so beautiful, but they don't look at you. If you're an African dating a Kenyan girl abroad, my brother, if a white guy comes to the scene, she's going to leave you. Trust me. I had no idea you guys brought it to America. I thought this was only happening in Europe. I had no idea. You guys, your search for Muzungu continues in America. Please reduce it a little bit. Please. You guys are exaggerating it. It's not sweet anymore. You guys are doing too much. Also date Emeka. Also date John. Also date Cameroonian. Also date Nigerian. Date people from other parts of the world. Date people that look like you. Love your own people as well. Muzungu. They'll be shouting in the streets of Europe. Muzungu. In Germany. Go and see them in Germany. Muzungu. In Netherlands. Muzungu. In France. Muzungu.
My guy said Kenyan and Ugandan girls are top white hunters. They don't play. They don't play. To see a Kenyan girl with an African man, it is so rare. It is like the tears of a lion. I cannot get enough of African TikTok. When I tell you the Africans are so dramatic, like these Bamas have the greatest descriptions literally of everything. Bravo. Oh my God. Muzungu in Germany, Muzungu in France, Muzungu. I had no idea that Kenyan girls were doing this in America. Can you reduce it just a bit? Yes, Will, come through. Bless the people with my bruv's name. Go follow this man on TikTok. His joints is
Yikes. Is my only response to that.
Will.
So his name is DA.
Wait, hold on. When my guy said, when Kenyan girls, can you take your love of the white men to the UNESCO heritage site? He said, retire it to the World Heritage. No, leave it behind. I'm sorry. Go ahead. What's his name? His name?
A victim. He's definitely a victim. His name is DADDY Clivert, CLIVERT. I could put the link in the chat as well.
Glorious observations, I'm telling you, dog. Because I didn't even know that the Kenyan women chasing Muzungu was a problem. I didn't even know it was an issue, and his brother has brought it to our attention. So, if you see a Kenyan girl and you see her with a white man, mind your business and leave her the fuck alone and let her let her be where she wants to be. This does not require commentary, but I'm telling you, when I'm telling you, my brother told the story, I said, oh my gosh, the tears of a lion, Lord have mercy. So anyway, I cried laughing. I've seen that 10 times and it's made me laugh every single time. Every single time. It has not disappointed. Muzungu, yes. Anyway, you guys, Fire Fam in particular, thank you guys so much for another great year. It was great. We are, I don't fucking know, 100 and some change, 107 subscribers away from 7,000. So help us get there. I would love to get there before the end of the year. What's today? 27th. Oh, we ain't got long to go. We may not make it. We may not make it to 7K by 1/1/25, but we're close. So help us get a little bit closer. Please subscribe to the channel. Sorry. I don't normally burp in everybody's ear. Please subscribe to the channel, like the video, share, etc., etc. I want to thank you guys for supporting us and supporting me, and by extension, Will and Molly, supporting Black Liberation Media, supporting the organizations that are affiliated. And I want to thank y'all for one thing personal this year that you guys really helped. Y'all, everyone that contributed and supported the fundraiser to get Ricky Ryan a revolutionary ride. I just want to take another opportunity to thank the folks that shared the information that contributed to the fundraiser. Ricky is whipping. Ricky is out here whipping in these streets, okay? And that's because of y'all. And someone was like, well, Kim, people gave because you asked her to. I said, well, maybe, but I looked at the success of the fundraiser more of a reflection as to who Ricky is and the kind of work that she does. But I appreciate y'all trusting me to know that, we wasn't gonna scam y'all out of the out of the Revolutionary Ride money. We weren't gonna scam y'all at all. Period. We only scam the racist whites, and as soon as you direct us to some racist whites to scam, we would love to get right on that. But our folks, no, never that. So thank you guys for doing that. That was one of the biggest things that that we were a part of this year. So I want to appreciate everybody that did that. So just stay with us in 2025. I'm not really sure what to expect. I think the world is going to go a little crazy. I think we're going to see things this year that we were not expecting to see. I think the institutions that have held power and sway over generations, centuries of us, I think these things are going to keep cracking and coming the fuck down, falling down. So we're going to root the demise of the empire. We're going to root for the demise of these systems of oppression as they continue to crack and become weakened and eventually dissipate and go away. And I appreciate all the like-minded people that have rocked with us and continue to rock with us. Thank you so much to the people that are following us on Twitch. We appreciate that. And we're just going to continue to do what we do here over at Burn It Down with Kim Brown. I don't know why I'm scowling, but because I'm serious about this shit. I'm very, very serious. I think this very serious. All of the channel members, all of the patrons, we appreciate you very much. Okay. So much. I can't even put it into words. So we will see y'all back here Friday, January the 3rd, 2025. Will, you want to say anything to the folks?
Just like and subscribe. We definitely appreciate y'all. We need the coins, Let's not be shy about it. Let's do what we got to do. And I definitely appreciate being a part of getting Ricky a ride, and just all the things 2025 has to bring. I just finished a mural today.
Hey, where is that?
It's inside this baseball complex for Black and brown kids. It's like free baseball.
I love that.
So
love that. I mean, but where? I mean, it's not. Is it?
It's about it's in Southwest Baltimore.
Okay.
Yeah.
Beautiful. I support children playing baseball.
Yeah.
You see what the fuck Juan Soto got?
Everybody need to. I'm over here taking a swing. I'm like, yo, I'm like what they do for
Sir, you Puerto Rican. That's in your DNA. Baseball. You got the baseball gene in you.
Yeah, I got a lot. But yeah, so appreciate y'all. Love y'all. Thank y'all for everything. Hit that like and subscribe.
Absolutely. Parents, reconsider putting your sons, particularly in football. Don't do that. Don't do that. Put that bat and that glove and that ball in his hand. That's what if I had a son, that would have been he would not have had a choice. Sorry, son. You're gonna be in Little League. You're gonna be in baseball, baby. Nope. I'm sorry. No, you cannot play football. But you know what you can do? You can go out. We can go to the batting cages. You ready to go, son? Come on. Let's go do the baseball. So anyway, thank you guys again. Again, bells and whistles, bells and notifications. Set them. Please have a happy belated Christmas. Happy Hanukkah. Happy Kwanzaa. Happy New Year, everybody. Thank you all so much. Y'all probably won't see me till the 3rd because I don't really be on social medias. I don't know. Maybe I might start posting on TikTok as TikTok goes away. Now I want to post videos. Weirdo. Me, that is. So anyway, we'll see. I'll put something up somewhere. You guys know I hate with the power, the wrath of 1,000 suns. Do I hate. Anyway, please be safe. Don't drink and drive. Don't overconsume your mushrooms and psychedelics and such. I didn't say don't do them. Don't overconsume, but don't drink and drive. That's fucking bad. Don't do that shit. And I'll see y'all back here next year. On behalf of Will and Molly, thank you guys so much. Love you guys. See y'all later. Bye bye.